Hey class, I'm going to talk today about Presbyterianism, which is a subset of Reformed Protestantism. Reformed ideas spread from continental Europe to Scotland and England, where they would shape the Presbyterian churches there. The Scottish Reformation and the Church of Scotland adopted Reformed theology and Presbyterian polity. One of the major figures in the Scottish Reformation was John Knox, while the English Reformation went in a different direction. There were those by the late 1500s who subscribed to Presbyterian polity, and they produced confessional statements known as the Westminster Standards. These would become somewhat authoritative for Presbyterians. In the 1600s, Presbyterianism made its way to Northern Ireland as a result of large-scale emigration from Scotland. In the late 1600s, many Scotch-Irish immigrants were Scottish-Irish were prompted to migrate to America. Most of these settled in the middle colonies. Also, there was the Presbyterian migration from New England, which served to increase their numbers. Though Presbyterian churches were established, they were still to be organized into presbyteries and synods. The first of these was the Synod of Philadelphia, and there was a controversy over the Westminster Confession that took place in the 1720s. The Scotch-Irish demanded that all ministers and ministerial candidates subscribe to the confession. The New England group opposed this, arguing that requiring subscription elevated the confession to the same level of authority as the Bible. And so they didn't like the confession being on the same level as, or what they viewed it as being on the same level as the Bible. But I think the conclusion of that is I think they went on without requiring them. I can't remember, but anyways, what is Presbyterianism? It's the system of church government by representative assemblies called presbyteries, as opposed to government by bishops or by congregations. And government by bishops would be the episcopal system. Government by congregations would be the congregationalist. Presbyterians were deeply influenced by John Calvin, among others. The most important standards of Orthodox Presbyterianism are the Westminster Confession of Faith and Catechisms of 1647. Thus, the Presbyterians trace their history to the 16th century and the Protestant Reformation, which I mentioned that already. And 1706 was the first presbytery in the New World, formed by 7 Presbyterian ministers, and the first synod was formed in 1717. In the early years of the 1800s, the church carried on revivals and organized congregations, presbyteries, and synods wherever they went. Eventually, they formed its own boards and agencies to address educational, missionary, evangelical, and reforming needs. Mission to Native Americans, African Americans, and populations all over the world became a hallmark of the church. The 19th century was characterized by division and disagreement over theology, governance, and reform, particularly slavery. There were additional denominations formed, such as the Cumberland Presbyterian Church and the United Presbyterian Church of North America. Also, the Southern Presbyterians split from the PCUSA, forming the PCCSA in 1861, which became the Presbyterian Church in the United States. And they unified later on in, I believe, not till 1983, but there were 2 churches during the Civil War. But they reunited by 1983, I believe it was. As of 2021, the Presbyterian Church had just over 1.1 million members and 8,800 congregations. And to add to that, the 19th century was pivotal. Was was the pivotal moment for Presbyterianism. Presbyterianism strengthened because of revivals and such figures as Charles Finney, B.B. Warfield, and Robert Louis Dabney. They were influential in this time. Charles Finney was perhaps the most controversial. He had the famous altar call, and I guess to add to what I was saying earlier, the 19th century also had famous politicians, William Jennings Bryan was also a Presbyterian. He was this three-time presidential candidate who lost all three times, but he was a Presbyterian, and also President Eisenhower and Reagan were both Presbyterians, and so Presbyterianism in America. Thank you.